Hi, welcome to Text Adventure Purgatory Rebirth. We're calling it that because we can't remember what episode we did last. So Text Adventure Purgatory is a podcast where we talk about text adventure games and we play them. And we're going to try a different technique this week or this month or whatever, this half a year, since that seems to be the rate that we get the podcasts out, where I'll be playing Anchorhead, famous text adventure, which has Lovecraftian themes, and my friends will be commentating and talking about today's theme, which is appropriately Rebirth. So I want to first ask, before we start playing, what everybody's favorite cinematic Rebirth is.
God, we're gonna fight so much. Okay.
I've been so
No, but you each get to have your own separate favorite. You don't have to agree on a favorite.
It's going to take a second. I mean, I've been very focused on our country's rebirth in the last few days.
Yeah, I have too. It's extremely depressing.
We somewhat unusually, Marlon and I are in the same room right now, which maybe that's going to be usual going forward, but it's the first time we've done that. So we may appear to be on a different wavelength.
All of our pheromones are mingling right now.
Yeah.
So
our favorite rebirth may be yet to come, but it may happen tonight in this room.
I'm going to go ahead and jump in and just take one of the best rebirths, which is Ripley in the fourth Alien movie.
Brave.
Yeah, I'm taking that one. I like that one because that's a good rebirth, and it has a lot of grody rebirths associated with it. And it's fun. It's a way for those movies, which sort of started out on the ultra serious side, to kind of like get into the really fun side. Like it's 400 years later, and she has superpowers that let her play basketball really well. And I like that. So that's my favorite rebirth. My least favorite rebirth is the Prometheus films.
Yeah, no. Oh man, so we can't beat that one. I don't think. The first thing I think about when I think about Alien Resurrection is Winona Ryder's character. I think she's got like a Bible with some sort of digital plug that she plugs maybe into her neck.
Yeah,
that's awesome to plug a Bible into your neck.
Yeah, she's in that chapel that has the neon cross in the background, I think. It's funny that I immediately think of the Alien movies as rebirths, but I guess you're right that kind of only Ripley really has a like technical rebirth. Because all the other aliens are just birthing.
Just regular single births. I think that the alien is also reborn in the fourth Alien movie and is a gross half human, half alien baby. And that's also a good one, but I guess I've claimed that one also, so you guys have to think of two different ones.
No, but that's just a birth.
That's just a pumpkin head that gets born.
Pumpkinhead.
But no,
I guess if you had called it the rebirth of Pumpkinhead, you'd have been right.
The aliens are extinct before the movie, so Ripley is cloned just to bring them back. This is exactly the kind of hard-hitting alien journalism that our listeners tune in to Text Adventure Purgatory to listen to.
Specifically, the xenomorph spawned from human hosts are no longer around, basically.
Right.
But presumably xenomorphs are still around somewhere, being spawned from different creatures.
Yeah, they're all.
But I think it's the reason. But if that were true, they would be able to get them. And that's why they have to clone Ripley, because she's the last.
We're basing this off of Prometheus, like retconning, because we're saying the Prometheus ship is the first place it happened, and so based on that, sure. But other than that, I don't think we really know where the eggs all are.
All right, think about your rebirths while I read the opening lines of Anchorhead.
There is a good band from New Orleans called the Rebirth Brass Band.
Brass band.
I also in the movie Boomerang, Grace Jones's character promotes a perfume called Afterbirth.
That's good.
Which is not quite the same, but that's related in something I like.
All right. Well, so hopefully we actually don't really need to like read through this unless you particularly want to, because people now, hopefully, if all goes well, will be able to actually read it themselves.
Yeah, so we're recording video, and we're going to put these videos up, so you'll be able to kind of follow along, which will hopefully reduce the amount of just like straight up reading the text adventure that we're doing in the podcast. But I'm going to read the opening salvo because it establishes the setting. You take a deep breath of salty air as the first raindrops begin to spatter the pavement, and the swollen slate-colored clouds that blanket the sky mutter ominous portents amongst themselves over the little coastal town of Anchorhead. Squinting up into the glowering storm. By the way, have you guys ever listened to any of Wayne June's H.P. Lovecraft voice work? Mm-hmm. He's so good. Yeah. Everyone should listen to it. Find him. He does it sort of like this. Squinting into the glowering storm, you wonder how everything managed to happen so fast.
That sounds like Darkest Dungeon a little bit.
It does sound
The strange phone call over a month ago from a lawyer claiming to represent the estate of some distant branch of Michael's family was bewildering enough in itself. But then
my wife gets really mad at me when I read, like with a voice, as she calls it. If I do anything but read in as natural a voice as possible, I have to try
That's so weird.
And imagine that it's myself. Like,
no, because most people enjoy Steven's voices.
She's okay with me reading the characters' voices as voices, but the narration, she really gets like disturbed if I do my reading voice.
Because she thinks the reading voice could be your true voice.
In fairness, Steven's.
That's right. Go on.
In fairness, your wife does have to spend 24 hours a day, more or less 7 days a week with you. So it's a different level of Stephen Guidry contact than the rest of us are getting.
All right, go on. Again, what happened?
All right. But then the sudden whirlwind of planning and decisions, legal details and travel arrangements, the packing and shipping away of your entire home, your entire life. Now suddenly here you are after driving for the past 2 days straight over 1,000 miles away from the familiar warmth of Texas, which is a really weird place for a H.P. Lovecraft protagonist to come from.
I was
getting ready to move to the ancestral mansion.
Right.
But it's actually a good. How would you?
The least H.P. Lovecraft-like location.
He would not even. I don't even know. Did Texas even exist when he was writing these things? He would be like all Spaniards down there.
Okay, so, and we've only been married to our husband Michael since June, and we've been dragged along to Anchorhead. We don't want to live here.
Right.
It's not long enough for Michael to have turned into a frog, which probably will happen.
All right.
Actually,
don't skip ahead. You're supposed to be playing the game, not speculating.
Maybe that's what she married him for.
Yeah. Sometimes the prince turns into a frog, and sometimes vice versa.
A sullen belch emanates from the clouds, and the rain starts coming down harder. Fat, cold drops smacking loudly against the cobblestones. Shouldn't it be snowing in New England this time of year? With a sigh, you open your umbrella. Welcome to Anchorhead. So, I'm going to start playing. You guys can start talking.
Okay.
All right. Well.
So, just what is your starting location? Are you just getting out of your car in front of your home?
Well, so we're in a. Thank you. I'm glad you asked. We're in a grim little cul-de-sac, tucked away in the corner of the claustrophobic tangle of narrow, twisting avenues. And west of us is a town, and there's a narrow, garbage-choked alley to the southeast.
Okay.
Did you type okay just to kind of make sure that you were a nice guy? Yeah.
Is your husband with you?
I don't think I did.
Okay.
No, he's not with me. He's not with me.
All right.
I think that we're here to pick up the keys from the realtor.
So just a little.
I remember the tense thing.
Yeah.
No big deal.
I think it's really funny that just so everybody knows that everybody sees this hopefully that Michael S. Gentry wrote this game, and that the husband in the game is also named Michael.
So
just a note.
Oh, interesting.
I thought of my rebirth. I think my rebirth. It's not as interesting.
You remembered your rebirth.
I remember my own rebirth. Actually, I was thinking of Frank in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when he emerges from the couch.
It's so crazy that you just said Frank who emerges from the couch, because as soon as you said Frank, I thought you meant Frank from Hellraiser as he emerges from the mattress.
Right, from the mattress. That's right. That's so weird. Gosh, there you go. Well,
Frank, a popular name among rebirths.
Among people emerging from furniture.
Yeah.
All right.
So speaking of from gross, super slick, like in terms of mucus-lined rebirths, there is the Hellraiser Rebirth, a really good one that takes a lot of work because the blood ratio to like flesh construction in Hellraiser is really strange. I don't know if you remember at the beginning, it takes only a few drops of blood to like assemble his skeleton and sort of his outer layer of musculature.
Yeah.
And then like progressively, it takes like whole bodies worth of blood to like add a little more muscle and then skin and then hair and stuff.
That's right.
So the science of Hellraiser rebirthing is a little confusing.
It gets greedy, yeah.
But on that note, the rebirth, I guess we're all just going for gross right now in terms of rebirths.
I mean, a birth is kind of gross.
Yeah, it's
rebirth
gross and beautiful at the same time.
Yeah, so rebirths.
But I was thinking a little more obscure. I think you've seen this, Stephen. There's a science fiction film from the early 80s called Xtro.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what it was called. I didn't want to be lame. Go on.
And it's a British film about a boy who loses his father's abducted by aliens when he's a toddler, and then sort of like his father comes back. You assume it's his father. You're not sure. It could be an alien posing as his father, but this alien being comes back to take his son back to the to the heavens, which for me was kind of a weird sort of like fantasy I had as a child, because I lost my father as a kid. Not to make it over serious, but I did hope he would come back as an alien and take me back to his super gross people. But anyway, in this movie, there's a very interesting rebirth scene in which I don't remember how, but his landing pod or whatever somehow infects a woman who finds it on the side of the road or something.
Right.
And she becomes pregnant with like the alien spore, which has to be born as a human to kind of carry its mission out. And so it's born out of this woman, and it's actually a scene in which a live like fully grown adult man is born out of a woman, sort of like traditionally. And then she's pretty like messed up afterwards.
Yeah. That's a good rebirth. I couldn't remember what the movie was called, but I always envisioned that rebirth because of the elbow. There's like an elbow or
There's
a
some
knee.
weird joint. There's some weird things happening with joints in there in terms of how they come out.
That really like presses hard.
That is not norm. It's not a normal birth.
Yeah, God, it's like an elbow or a knee presses like maybe it's even just like a heel, but something like presses at a really like hard angle in her stomach that as it's working its way out.
Another fantastic, disgusting rebirth was then I don't know if it was a rebirth necessarily, but representation of birth.
Speaking of like slick and disgusting, notice that he's gotten her entirely.
So, this is just John playing as his typical red-blooded heterosexual,
entirely
soaking her her white blouse.
Right. Changed.
But
to
I will
white
say
blouse.
there's some pretty rapid progress going on here because John's already he's already gotten into the
he's already in the file room.
Yeah.
I did the most insane. You know how when you play video games, you do not act even remotely like a normal human being?
Yeah,
I'm supposed to be getting the keys from our realtor, and I went into the alley and climbed into his window. I didn't even knock on the
Did you even try the front door? Okay, that's what I was wondering.
No.
So the great thing is you're neither like following normal world practical logic and knocking on the front door, nor you're following our particular brand of video game logic, where you explored the town, finding every single possible dead end before you tried to get into the office.
Right.
So
it's good though. Progress. Here we go. All right.
Okay, so I'm in a file room.
Yeah.
And it's murky.
There's a filet. I thought it was a filet.
That's a gumbo filet room.
Where they store the bats.
Mm-hmm.
The berries.
It was easier for me to get filet in France than it was to get it here in North Carolina.
What's it called in France?
Filet?
Is it? Oh wow. Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
It is. It's the leaves of the sarsaparilla tree, as I understand it.
Sassafras.
Yeah, sassafras.
Sassafras, yeah.
Suffrans. No. Suffering. I was gonna say suffering. Sassafras, but it is not. It is succotash.
Succotash. Yeah.
What is it?
Suffering
Succotash.
Suffering succotash. That's a topic.
First time you wrote that.
Right when you wrote that down, suffering succotash. All right, so John's really looking.
So one of the reasons we're doing it differently this time is because Marlon points out that the way we play the games in previous podcasts resembles nothing of the way that actually played when you play them by yourself, where you just kind of like run around like a crazy person, touch everything and fiddling with them. So we're trying to allow it to happen, and you know, we'll see if that's happening.
Smell everything. Smell it. Smell it all.
This.
Smell this.
Smell this.
So yeah, John is rubbing everything against everything, so fast we can't even keep up.
All right.
So much friction. There's so much friction.
There's so much friction.
Everything is getting
It's gonna start
hot.
setting that filet on fire.
So I'm trying to find my name.
So John is, just to recap, he's in the office. He's looking for the key. The office was locked. He just assumed that because he knew he was entering into a dark gothic tale. So he's climbed through the window. So we're going to see if maybe there's some a key or maybe some information kind of pertaining to the history of the town or the house or our family, or maybe maybe where the realtor is.
Yeah. Okay. What was the other rebirth you were thinking of?
Oh, this isn't really a rebirth. This is just a gross birth. A fairly recent film and horror anthology, really short bits, called The ABCs of Death 2. I believe the final vignette in that is one in which a woman gets pregnant and she lives in like an isolated cabin, and her husband or partner or whatever says he's going out to hunt or going to town, and he never returns.
That's really good.
And she does not want to have the child without a father, so she continually delays the birth of the child, and she kind of like eats like wild cats and stuff that she finds, and like herbs and berries. Oh, and she has this particular herb that she takes to delay the birth. I don't remember the story behind that, but basically she delays the birth so long that the child grows into her body, as in like its limbs grow into her limbs, and it kills her and fully occupies her body. And then when it's born, it does, I believe, begin at the vagina, and then basically peels itself out of her skin, which is just sort of I think it's really gross. It starts with it pushing her bones and organs out of her mouth, because it needs to get rid of kind of the excess, her excess anatomy as it's growing inside, and then it comes out of her vagina and leaves a nice skin suit.
So there you go.
Good job.
Yeah.
I just I reminded my character of what the last name, the ancestral name of my husband is. It's Verlac.
Verlac.
Yeah, and the thing is, in a creepy way...
You think it's pronounced Verlac or Verlac?
Verlac. In a creepy way, it was just, there was a message on the realtor's answering machine, and the only thing it said was Verlac, in a Wayne June voice, like, Verlac.
That seems like a little far-fetched.
So,
who do you think called? Do you have
I don't know.
Do you have any suspicions of who called the realtor to leave that message?
I'll let Marlon field that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking that maybe your husband is very strange, and instead of leaving him, it'd be like if I called one of you and was just like Olivier and then hung up. I mean, I don't think that's such a bad idea, because you know to call me back, and you know who it was.
The realtor called himself. He's forgetful, and he wanted to remind himself to think about the Verlac house.
Right.
And my score just went up by 2 points.
Hey, the score just went up 2 points.
Yeah, but here's the thing: the file is empty, but there is a set of keys.
Good job.
All right, so I got the keys.
2 points.
All right, so obviously now it's time to climb out the window.
Did you wait? Can you check the door? Can you unlock it in case you want to get back in more easily?
Be a human for a second.
Come on, let's be a little practical here. Me climbing up trash cans all day long, back and forth.
John, he's gonna drag that. He's gonna drag that trash can to every location he goes to go through a window.
Go through a window.
Did you drink some coffee?
No, I didn't drink any coffee, but you know what you're reminding me of? I played Deus Ex recently, like a year ago.
I've
always played that game in stealth mode. You know, everyone plays the game in stealth mode because that's the way you're supposed to play it. But this time I decided I would play it with a rocket launcher, and you can blow open every single door in the game. It's like a completely valid. It's a completely valid strategy to bring a rocket launcher with you and just blow all the obstacles out of your way until you.
Did you put in a code or something to get it from the beginning, or did you just wait till you got it naturally?
No, I think you can get it. I forget exactly where I got it, but I think there's like one in the closet of the first office, so you can carry this thing around with you. And I mean, I basically was like a stealth rocket player.
So
I would blow a door up, and then I would hide in the
closet.
The closet of the offices in the Statue of Liberty.
I was going to say the Statue of Liberty. Right.
I love thinking about doing a really violent run and setting off alarms in that game, because when you set off alarms in that game, so many dudes are running in a circle that it just seems crazy to I don't know, intentionally push things into panic and chaos mode in that game. Really isn't in the in the benefit of the guards or any of the people securing the facility.
Gosh, I have such a distinct memory of waiting at the top of the Statue of Liberty as the guards come up the stairs, kind of in single file, because the hallway's really narrow. And
just
you can,
tranquilizing
just
each
tranquilizing
of them, just putting them all to sleep one after another. It's beautiful.
This is a nice little detail that the fly is buzzing around in there.
I really want to break open this drawer. You guys have any
I don't know.
suggestions on how to make
the keys that you have don't do anything, right?
Violence isn't the answer to this one. I've gotten a little peek into the authorial intent. It's addressed to me directly.
Yeah.
Unlock.
What about the key? Yeah. And then
hopefully that'll.
We could.
Not seem to fit.
Now, in the service of total transparency, Stephen and I have both played through Anchorhead.
That's right.
I do feel like that drawer is something we can get in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't.
So interestingly, I listened to the drawer, and there was nothing unexpected. I didn't hear anything weird in the drawer.
Did you say interestingly? Like it was
you didn't hear a plant slowly like growing,
well, I mean,
intertwining its roots around the insides of the furniture.
I didn't hear skittering.
For some reason, that the third of the books in the Annihilation, the Southern Reach trilogy.
Yeah.
Listening to a drawer and hearing something in there.
Just hearing the thing growing.
It's a grower.
Well, you know, there is a coffee cup, and this also could be a location that we return to.
Right. I will say I did not get into this office initially. I'm pretty sure I didn't climb right in. I'm pretty sure I walked around a little bit first.
Me too. I think so too.
So I'm
just examining all the stuff on the desk here.
He's just searching.
So far, nothing interesting.
Gosh,
nothing catches my eye. So I think there's a door in here, since my colleagues here are obsessed with door usage.
And a good thing about this new format is, in the event that we do get stuck or there are locations we want to revisit in the future, we can review some of the. I don't know, some of the stuff we've done kind of easily and say, oh, I missed this object in this location.
Right, go back to the tape.
Without actually going back to the tape.
Yeah. Review it. There is a door in there. Oh, good. Drink the coffee.
Yeah, there is a door.
Start pushing the limits.
Oh, I took one stick and I nearly gagged. I want to know what the why it's disgusting though. Is it bad coffee that it's just like bad coffee, or it's rotten?
Well, it's in a styrofoam cup.
It seems strange to gag under those circumstances because you have to kind of steel yourself for something nasty to begin with, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, I think you're making you're asking an interesting question about interactive fiction, which is to what extent do I, the player, represent the inner life of the character, right? Because I think that when I say drink the disgusting coffee, like that's the entirety of the character's being. They have no doubts about it. They just straight up drink the coffee.
Right, but the character has to have some perception of the world they're living in, right? I mean, they have to have like apprehension at certain moments. They express these things. She said muddy looking and unappetizing. So she's already established that this coffee is something that like should be unpleasant when she drinks it.
Well, also she gagged, which even if you were set on doing a thing, if you actually had a physical reaction, you would stop doing it. You know, I mean, she gagged, so she's not going to continue drinking it, at least not immediately. You can try drinking it again. Although I will, you are right that a lot of times people disagree.
Remove her gag. Remove her gag.
Here's the weird thing I don't understand about this. I just opened the door to the office with the keys that I got in the file. But why was there a key to the office on those?
You don't know that it was the key. It could have been just a turn lock. No, could have been a turn lock.
Well, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Could have been.
It's a deadbolt.
Yeah,
this is Anchorhead.
I would think that you would just.
It's got to be a deadbolt.
I would think that you would just. You wouldn't even say that it was locked, but okay, fair enough. I'm back on the grip.
Well, it was locked because you couldn't get in from the outside. I mean, you wouldn't know that, Mr. Trash Can Window.
Trash Can. Mr. Trash Can Window, a.k.a. Vincent Toops.
Oh, Mr. Trash Can Window. All right. Where are you now? He's back in the cul-de-sac.
I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing now.
On a side note, this game...
And I'm on the cul-de-sac.
This game is held in such high esteem by us that we are sitting directly across from a hand-drawn, like pretty charming pencil drawn map of the town of Anchorhead and its various interiors.
That's true.
So we have access to this little
that is true.
guide.
I think we should restrict ourselves. Like if you, Vincent, if you do get lost and you want us to consult the map, we'll restrict ourselves to the map that myself and Claire made when we played it one weekend. How about them?
And this is Claire, who would go on to become Stephen Guidry's wife because of that game.
Right, because
as I recall, you guys got engaged on a fetid beach in Maine, isn't that right?
That's true. We did. We got engaged on a beach, much like some of the beaches you may visit in this game.
Yep.
Right, the filthy pipe.
It was right. Water. Weather events had happened that washed scores of dead fish onto the beach that night. So.
Yeah, and some unspeakable fungal bodies.
Right.
So yeah,
meaning Stephen and Claire.
Well, you have to figure this out.
All right, you're in the.
What's your favorite H.P. Lovecraft story?
No, goodness. Well, who are you to ask so many questions?
The Dark Unspeakable.
Yeah, actually,
the Dark Unspeakable Tale of Ethan Christon.
Right. That's a good question. My favorite is like the obvious one. I think.
Yeah, it's gonna be mine too. I'm sure.
The Unnameable.
Oh no.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say The Shadow over Innsmouth because it's the most narrative. Like, it goes a long way for me that it's actually a person going through a place.
Right.
Like, there's much less of that recounting of histories. I mean, there's plenty of that in there, too. But you're not reading, maybe you even are reading from a journal in that. But it's much more like point A, point B, point C.
It's true.
And so I like that a lot.
I like The Unnameable because it's basically these two people talking in a cemetery across the street from a creepy house, and the guy's like, "If you know about that creepy house," and he's like, "No," and he's like, "There's this thing," and then he tells the story, and the story's pretty straight until the end, and then they have this moment at the end, of course, where he's like, and then I don't want to give it away, but then the ending kind of all ties it all together, and it's also like kind of makes fun of the idea of like things being unnameable. Like it kind of mentions. I think it was a late story.
Right.
It's just charming.
I also really like Pickman's model because I like that there are paintings in there that like I try to imagine how they look. And stuff because he describes. I mean, a lot of things in Lovecraft's work are undescribable and otherworldly, but those things tend to be like transdimensional or of weird like geometries and stuff.
Right.
Whereas in Pickman's model, they're paintings of sort of like traditionally occult things that he's painting. And he renders them like in such a realistic way that I don't know, the narrator, when he looks at them, he's like kind of like he feels like they're actually happening and they're real. Right. And I really like any sort of fiction that deals with an artist's rendering of something being super realistic.
I like that too. I like the rats in the walls too. That's again a pretty like simple way. This guy freaking out because there are rats in the walls, but I think it's really well.
Anyway,
done.
This has to be kind of challenging for John because I feel like the geography is going to start getting a little more loopy, and so yeah, please let us know.
I think,
as I recall, this part of the game is always like a little bit hard to get through because I feel like you're kind of left without a specific goal.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the one thing is, that you've gotten your, keys.
Keys, yeah.
So the logical thing is that you're trying to go to the house.
Right, but I don't think our character has any direction toward the house right now in town.
I think that
her husband basically dropped her off without saying, "Hey, hon, after you get the keys, you want to go through the town square, then take
a left at the obelisk.
Then I'm trying to think of a good street name. I don't know, Meyerlurk Street or something."
Well, he's already, he's been to Whately Street, Whately Bridge, right? That's a Lovecraft character.
That's right.
Yeah.
Am I crazy? Whately is somebody. It's probably an assistant of some kind, or someone who has something horrible, or both could be.
But it's also tough because you have an objective, but obviously there's the temptation to poke around in each of these areas because you might need that old empty beer can or something later.
What's in your inventory right now?
Good question.
I'm glad, by the way, that you're using your umbrella. Finally, a little too late. Oh, train whistle.
My favorite one is out in the Mountains of Madness. And it's particularly, it's such a, it's like really a very effective, relatively realistic piece of early science fiction, which tries to convince the reader that, like, these are aliens and they're different, but they're also fundamentally, like, alive and have inner lives. And they're not exactly evil, they're just really weird. And it does that really effectively. And
it has giant...
it makes me feel bad that...
Because it creates some social... It creates some, like, social and sort of, like, not ecosystem, but some stuff around their lives. And I think what takes me out of that slightly, and this happens from time to time in Lovecraft, is that I'd rather things sometimes be unexplainable, because sometimes when he does actually start trying to explain the anatomy of some sort of elder or like otherworldly thing, like it comes off to me as less scary and more like, I don't know, like a whole bunch of objects smushed together.
Yeah.
Like a triangle head with a little like tube coming out of the middle of the triangle and then like a glowing halo over it. And that is like crazy if I saw it, but I'd be more like astonished than frightened, I think, by it.
Yeah, he really breaks the I don't know. There's this sort of Chesterton passage where he talks about he talks about how the things that we're scared of, like, it's much more scary to be on a lonely street
and see something
that looks like a human, or like he's like, if you're walking on a country road and you think you see like a human shape, that's scarier than seeing something and knowing it's just a tree, and
it's something being slightly off, which makes things the most scary most of the time.
And I think sometimes Lovecraft does that, and it's great, and he has a lot of people that behave in an odd way because there's something wrong with them, and those I think are really effective. But you're right, when you have like something that so kind of where he describes it really specifically, it does, because it's a little less scary. It's like uncanny, but no, it's not uncanny. It's back to
Pickman's model. It's why the idea of the pictures are scary, because we've all seen scary pictures of things, but to have a scary picture that's uncannily alive would be a really I don't know. Not to in any way.
Well, the thing about the Mountains of Madness, I mean, the thing about the Mountains of Madness is that it's not really like a horror story, but it does show about the world that he was writing in, where there wasn't a history of science fiction.
Yeah,
this is like an incredibly imaginative piece of science fiction, which imagines, like, the idea that civilization, a huge alien civilization, could have come and gone in the millions of years before human beings even showed up, I think that we were all kind of aware, like culturally, that was something people maybe you could have had them conceive of or conceived of it before, really.
Right.
And it's just really amazing when you put it into context. It's like the first space opera in a certain way. And space opera is sort of like it has its limitations as a genre, but to be the person to invent space opera is really impressive. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, it is.
In terms of scaling, cosmology, and stuff, it's a very impressive thing.
Right. I do like that it has this. The beginning is very speculative, where they're kind of going, wow, guys, seems like this is the way it works. This is the way. Then they kind of very quickly have all this stuff confirmed, and it's. I like that. I like the way that the ecology all sort of kind of gathers together once they realize that this thing is kind of currently happening. That is also the best. That's like the grossest mattress in fiction.
Yeah,
the one that's
right. I'm like wandering off. I climbed through a window and I'm wandering off into the town.
He's like wandering around. He's like in a vacant lot. He looked at the mattress that's like oozing. I like that it's also stained and beaten.
Yeah, there was definitely some weight applied repeatedly to that mattress, and an uneven weight, we should say, unevenly distributed weight of strange anatomy and proportions.
I like it. I also like that someone's been sleeping like in a vacant lot, not under a bridge or anywhere out in.
But that's very Innsmouthy that they just allow someone to sleep out there because.
Right. But we don't know if this town's very Innsmouthy at all. Who knows? Right now it's just raining. No wonder everybody's inside. Oh boy, he's like, you're going to the metal door and everything. You're doing a lot more exploration than I was expecting.
I know. John, out of the three of us, just for listener information, tends to be the game pragmatist. He really likes to kind of move toward the objective. He's not much for, the trinkets and shiny things that games throw out to extend their playtime. In fact, he has kind of open disdain for that most of the time. Whereas I eat that shit sandwich every day.
No, the perfect example of this is like in Silent Hill 1, where you are like literally looking for your daughter, and you'll see her like wandering through the mist 10 feet ahead. But to get the good ending of the game, instead of walking in the direction of your daughter, which is like the emotional center of the game, you're like, I guess I'll check every single door in this apartment complex first, right? Like it's crazy. No characters ever behave that way in real life. I feel like games should reward you for role playing, not punish you for it.
Right, but okay, so this moment you're talking about at the game, I don't know if it's the early moments when you see her or later in the game, but if you do follow her directly like that, do you not hit some sort of barrier that then would force you to go back and explore, which then you can do with varying degrees of like thoroughness?
No, I mean maybe you do, but I feel like
I don't feel like
to get like the best ending of the game, you have to do so much crazy stuff. Like you have to comb over this incredibly terrifying town, city.
Yeah.
While you're worried that your daughter's like lost in it somewhere. It's so weird.
No, there's definitely a counterintuitive like aspect of it, because I know the first time I beat Silent Hill, I didn't get the good ending, but that's not because there was like a scripted thing with my daughter, but that was because you reach a point about halfway through the game when you're near the carnival and the lighthouse and the police station and stuff, where there's a critical path through, but there's also additional stuff to explore where you get the gross red stuff that you need to feed the cop and stuff.
That's right. The ampule of
right. I can't remember the name of it. I keep wanting to call it Ouroboros. It's some word like that. But the thing is, the game is pressuring you so much at that point with those crazy like Yeti guys crawling around on four legs and dogs and pterodactyl birds that it's really counterintuitive to do exploration at that point.
Yeah.
And it's different. It's why I've never beat Siren. Because, like, I was thinking about replaying Siren for the PS2.
Well, no one's ever beaten Siren.
Yeah,
right, true. Right. But it's why.
I'm pretty sure that they had to re-release it and make it easier because no one has ever beaten it. I think that there is like a remaster
game. Yeah, the re-release is a different game for the PS3, but the original, like, it's full of all of this extra content that adds, like, stuff to tie the stories together. But because when you start playing that game, you're so scared to explore because you don't know where the barriers in that world are because the fog is so dense, your sight is so limited, and you don't know where the enemies are, and the enemies are such a threat that you're like, well, fuck, I don't know what to explore to get the extra stuff even because the punishment is so severe and your perception is so limited.
For the people who don't know Siren, it's a survival horror game, I will say, which is not exactly what it is.
It has actual human, like, photos of humans texture mapped their faces onto the models' faces, which is awesome.
And the sort of similar to Silent Hill, which hopefully people are somewhat familiar with, and if not, that's okay. There's a siren that kind of indicates that things are weird or strange. I don't remember how the
it starts raining blood, and the siren kind of...
And then people sort of become zombie-esque, and one of the mechanisms in the game is that you can sort of, I forget what they call it.
Sight jacking.
You sight jack. You sight jack the zombies.
It's such a technical term. Yeah.
So you're trying to avoid them, but sometimes you only know where they are because you see their vision, which includes they see you if they see you and they're approaching you or attacking you.
Which is fantastic. It's very like Strange Days. You can watch a zombie walk up to you and like attack you with a sickle.
Right. And it's
which is scary.
It is. And it's also kind of vignettes, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Each vignette, you're sort of in a different environment, playing different people. And of course the game has many, if this person survives and this person doesn't, and then
if you find this slip of paper, you'll know this thing.
Right.
This alternate,
So it's also got all these permutations, but it is a notoriously difficult and terrifying game. I've only played it for a little while.
Speaking of notoriously difficult and terrifying, where are we in Anchorhead right now? What's going on?
I'm exploring an abandoned church. Because it's one of the things that we skipped over from the intro, but the main character is really into an exploration. So she's got her phone out. She's taking pictures for her Instagram account of this abandoned church. Right, yeah. It makes sense for her.
Yeah, I kind of have a thing for this character that she, instead of just going straight home after getting the keys from the real estate office on her first day in town, is exploring just every scary abandoned thing she can find, rooting through garbage,
pushing garbage cans around, going into any gap in a fence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I mean,
we know what you're talking about.
All right, so you haven't got any sense of
that expression, by the way, means something very different if you're in the community of professional thieves.
So have you gotten any new items or anything since we've
Some listener just dropped their coffee.
That's right. They're like,
right. Yeah, have you picked up anything? I haven't really seen you pick up my.
No, I gotta admit, guys, it's a little hard to pay attention to this game and listen to you talk at the same time.
Well, maybe you should be playing the game and not really listening.
Right.
We're
just the voices in your character's head.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the Lovecraft game after all.
Alternate reality is that we're like commentators during a football game. It's not like the quarterback.
Right.
That's you. Can hear the commentators.
But that is a good idea for an alternate format if we're gonna, try different things. We could have one where John just plays and we just talk about him playing.
Comment, that's good.
And he cannot give us feedback.
Right. Maybe we should just mute him so he can hear us. Yeah. How do you
we can just say what the solution is out loud.
Right, exactly. Oh, so he wouldn't be able to hear us. Oh, right.
I think he wouldn't be able to hear us.
But we'd be able to hear him.
Right, it would be like sports commentators. He'd be playing his damnedest, and we'd be like,
right, we were
just doing the couch thing.
Yeah, we'd be hearing all his gasps of frustration and his pleas for help.
Or we could maybe interject little prepackaged little audio things that he could hear whoop.
That'd be nice. And we could kind of cut in and that's good. That's good. All right, well, if you don't make some progress,
That's
might have to
something to consider
the
down the road, if you know what I mean.
Uh-oh. Who are you? Goodness.
I'm now wandering out of town,
you are not appreciating any of the awesome stuff we're doing. This is probably correct what you're doing now. If by correct I mean
this
going
sounds
to the
about
house.
right. This road I remember very distinctly.
Yeah, but it told me that I can't go any further. I walk a bit farther down the road, and it doesn't seem to lead anywhere. And I decided I turned back.
Yeah, but what about the paved walk that leads east through the trees?
Well, I went to the church. That was the church.
Oh, well, so you can't go down the road, huh?
So wait, can we check our inventory? I just want to make sure we don't have something that's like an address on a piece of paper or something that.
That's a good idea.
Where's our
Digging
cell
in
phone?
pockets. I really like that this game. I just say this is one thing I enjoy in adventure games when they're sometimes it's frustrating, but I do like it when there's this a distinction between the things you kind of have in your hands, the things that are in your pockets.
Yeah.
If done right, it adds a nice little subtlety. I see what you're typing. That's not funny.
Yeah.
He just
That's not a
typed
verb she even recognizes.
Well, it's not a very progressive. It's a very Catholic game.
Right.
So
That's right. It's in Ireland.
Just so you know, John typed divorce husband, and the game responded, "It's a verb I do not recognize." Did you try annul marriage?
Right. Annul marriage. Write letter. Write letter to.
We don't have any children, so it could be that we haven't consummated the marriage yet.
Okay.
Right. It was just a few weeks ago.
Okay, so you've got the cup. You've got. We know we need to get over.
Okay,
to the,
a cup, a key ring, my trench coat, my clothes.
I'm gonna go refer to the map.
Yeah. We're gonna take a look at the map. See if there's anything we need to look around. Where are you? You're in the churchyard now. But I would go back. I'd go back down to that obelisk in the center of town. I think maybe there's just multiple paths down there.
We're like the character that's like the controller in like a Spec Ops game.
That's right.
We're looking at someone in real time on some sort of like really complicated 3D rendered map, except we're looking at a pencil drawn map and John's talking to us.
That's right. All right, he's in the Chili Avenue.
Oh, this is good.
The
Chili Avenue is where we want to go.
Chili's Avenue.
Chili Avenue.
The River Walk.
Mm-hmm.
The River Walk.
So there are two.
I want to go west to the town square.
Oh well, I think you went. That's interesting.
Unhealthy
maybe he
grass
was.
is a strange stone obelisk.
No. Wait. He was in the right place. Is that the church down there?
Oh, maybe. Oh, you were in the right place. You just missed. If you'll notice in the Chili, go back to the Chili Avenue because you can go in two different directions in the Chili Avenue, and I think you haven't gone.
Right.
That one.
Yeah. That's the church.
So which way is the Chili Avenue from here?
So there should be a branch.
East.
Yeah. All right, you're at the courthouse.
These games really need to have like a more high level set of verbs for moving.
Does it not have go to?
I don't think so. So okay,
South.
so I want to go south here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chili Avenue. Here I am at the Chili Avenue. So there's two roads leading south and southwest. I can't take the southwest road.
Why not? What happens when you go southwest?
The mist coils its tendrils around me, freezing my marrow with its damp embrace.
Okay, we have
For
to
one terrifying moment,
Mm-hmm.
you can feel it probing at your mouth and nostrils where you have a big vape cloud stored.
Right.
It's trying to get at.
You just have to fight. You have to fight fire with fire, John.
Yeah.
Right, you have to get
really
your vape
hard.
thing out.
Right.
It's like the battery on your vape rig is getting dangerously low.
That's what the right. That's what the robotic voice says, and you're like cyber implant.
God. Okay.
All right. Well,
This is interesting. All right.
We're both confident that this is the way to the house, but we may. You know what? I'm guessing this is not finding an item. I'm guessing we have to do something else in town.
So should I have gone to the bar, talk to the bartender?
Yeah, maybe you should go to that bar.
Maybe I need a lantern. I think I need a lantern. I think that's what's going to happen.
It could be as simple
I
as
don't
that.
know. I don't know.
Go to the bar. I mean, why wouldn't you go to
the bar,
anyway?
man. Just go to the bar.
Oh God, just meet me.
Well,
at
I
the
couldn't see a
bar.
window to climb into.
Oh, that's true. It's the old rusty window.
I'm from Texas, okay? That's how it's done in Texas. I don't understand. It's so hot and dry in Texas that you can't build doors into the houses. All of the moisture will get out of the doors. So what you do is you build these high windows that you climb into with trash cans.
If there's not like a hitching post, you can't identify the door. So you just go
Yeah,
through the
that's right.
window.
You see, the windows are so high because you're on your horse. So you just ride your horse up to the window, and then you can climb into it. That's how it works, and it's not explained in this game else.
If you didn't recognize the door because it wasn't one of those those swinging doors.
Yeah.
Those like those where it's two doors that just swing.
There used to be a video store in Atlanta, and the porno section was separated from the rest of the stores with those two swinging saloon doors.
That's good. The saloon door
made me feel pretty good.
So you could like push it open.
Right.
Like,
you could throw someone through it. If someone was in the porn section looking at something that you didn't agree with, you could throw them out of the doors.
And every time you walked in it, you were like, howdy. Well.
What do we have here? Anyway.
Okay. All right. How's it going over there, Texas?
All right.
Have you made any progress?
I'm trying to get up to this bar.
Okay.
Has RoboCop ever fought the
right.
aliens?
No.
What do you mean, no? Like, that's obvious.
It's just, no.
No. You mean in
Do you
like
think there's enough?
Fiction?
I mean, maybe someone wrote something and posted it on the internet.
Yeah.
Did you do that? And you're asking us if we read it?
Do you think there's enough RoboCop? Do you think there's enough Murphy left in the RoboCop suit to support an alien parasite?
It would like get in, and then it couldn't bust out of the chest plate.
That's
poor
right.
baby.
I know. Could it even go all the way down the throat? I don't know. Yeah.
The poor
The
thing.
poor little thing all squashed in there. It's not a bad idea, though.
That's a potential file that under potential rebirths.
That's right. That's right.
So there's a rusty gate to the north, but that's not where I want to go. I want to go west.
You need to go back.
Let's go to the bar. Get a couple drinks in you.
I'm
brave
trying to get there. So I'm at the stairs. I need to go to get to the bar from the square.
Yeah, I think it's back down where the alley, maybe? That alley in the southwest?
Where the throw up with all the sardines in it.
That alley is a different one, right?
Oh, okay.
So that's
I thought
a
it was
different
down.
alley. It's just like a
I thought it
alley.
was down the alley that you the whatchamacallit.
It's right next to the real estate agent.
Oh yeah, but that's the other side of the bridge.
Yeah, you have to cross the bridge.
Do I want to go south or north? That's
North.
You cross the bridge. You just yeah. Oh.
This is a very bad interface.
Don't use that. Don't make excuses.
All right.
Yeah, come on.
There are also about 400 versions of this game online, so I do like the bright
Steps
green.
to the north.
There we go.
All right. We've entered the bar. A dank, drafty old drinking hole lit by flickering, oil-burning lanterns. Smoke collects in greasy pools among the rafters, and shadows crowd thick around. The bar runs the length of the room to your right, while to the south, a low doorway opens onto the street. Mill workers and fishermen occupy a few of the tables, drinking beer or puffing grimly at long-stemmed vape rigs. Each is wrapped in his solitude, soaking up the general miasma of dreary fatalism. The lantern sits on a table nearest you, sputters fitfully, throwing distorted shadows across the wall. Take that, lantern!
Oh, buddy. Think they're gonna let you just take it?
Yeah, they did.
No one
That's
here. There you go.
Good job.
Good job.
Good job
All right.
calling
I think
that.
that's as far. I think that's where we're gonna go. As far as it's been an hour roughly, so that's an hour of recording is important.
Don't tell the people how long they've been listening. Just we should we should just feel satisfied. I feel pretty satisfied.
Yeah, I feel satisfied too.
I do too.
Okay,
awesome.
so.
All right, well that was
it.
That's Text Adventure Purgatory Rebirth. We're gonna try to do these things regularly, once or twice a month. No, twice a week. Once or twice
a week.
month. That's it. Once or twice a month is the one. We're gonna do one a day until Donald Trump is not president anymore.
Right. I was gonna try to do the math for that.
Right.
Very quickly, and I can't. I don't know. 12? No. How many days is that? I was gonna say
365 days times 4.
Times 4. Man,
Yeah.
this is the new segment.
1200 plus 65 times 4. This is the
New segment.
people trying to do algebra.
Slowly doing algebra. Okay.
Man, I would like to somehow try to tie this game to the election somehow over the course of playing it, but I'm not sure how to do that.
Well,
Man, I might just do it on
as
its own.
a choice because here's the thing. This is a time of rebirth for us on the left. We lost the election. You gotta pick up the pieces and figure out what the. That's right. Figure out what we can do.
Right, like
I think we give an opportunity.
Yeah, it's time to cross Whately Bridge.
Right, and this
That's
is
right. Cross the Whately Bridge.
I think no one will feel as desperate or in danger as the character in this game feels. None of us who feel like we were misrepresented in this election. So just look to our character in this game and her travails, and her accomplishments. So,
yeah. Did she die in the end?
Reach out.
That's what we're gonna find out.
Reach out for the styrofoam stale cold coffee next to you and just carry it.
I dumped that out.
What? I didn't even see that happen.
I dumped out the coffee.
Oh, I'm shocked. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Please tune back in to listen to Anchorhead in episode 2 of Rebirth.
That's right.
Not to be
We
confused.
won't be Rebirth anymore. We'll probably have a different theme by then.
Okay. Oh.
All right. Good night, everyone.
That's the theme.